In the news this week, running out of options. The state government considers selling Western Power to reduce debt.
Plus, take it or leave it. Public servants faced wage increase reduction this financial year.
And on Western Perspective, freedom of speech or censorship, the battle facing media in Hong Kong.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lung and Daniel Staniskov.
Good evening. Speculations about the sale of Western Power are back, with concerns that the move will mean higher electricity prices for consumers. But Treasurer Mike Nahan is only willing to say the government sees the sale of the utility as an option to reduce state debt. Nelson Liu reports.
It was promised it wouldn't happen.
We will not be selling a Western Power or Water Corporation or Fremantle Port. We won't be doing that.
But faced with a deteriorating budget, selling off Western Power is becoming irresistible to the state government.
The Premier's taking the lead on this. He's indicated we will seriously consider the issue.
If it's privatised, the government can expect $15 billion to help pay down WA's debt, set to reach $30 billion by the end of June. The state government says it's only an idea and no plans have been made yet.
Well, no, we haven't made a decision on Western Power, and we're going to an election on that.
But the opposition says it's a desperate move.
This is not going to solve the problem because it's not a asset problem, it's an expenditure problem.
The state government says privatising Western Power would help bring the state's economy back to surplus. But unions are concerned potential job losses from the sale would affect future jobs and training in WA.
Obviously, when businesses are sold off, government enterprises are sold off, training basically ceases, and that takes away jobs.
Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
Public sector workers have been told their pay rise will be capped this financial year due to a challenging fiscal environment. But unions believe the government's non-negotiating attitude on the issue might fuel industrial actions. Patrick Lazars has a story.
With the state's finance not getting better anytime soon, civil servants are facing the stark reality of reduced pay rise.
Well, we always stated it usually at the budget time. And the budget time was 2. It's now going to be in the next budget, 1.5. And we're running into serious negotiations back in, starting I think the 1st of June 2016.
This year, the government has capped the public sector workers' wage increase to 1.5%. saving an estimated $825 million. Treasurer Mike Nahan warned that if workers want a higher wage increase, the amount will be absorbed by the department, which may lead to job cuts.
We are capping the wages in those areas, the total wage budget, at a growth of 1.5. So there will be an impact on employment.
So people will lose their jobs?
That would be unfortunate.
Although the rise keeps WA civil servants as the highest paid in the nation, their unions labelled the government's policy as short-sighted.
We would expect from the government is not some edict, but to be bargaining, genuinely bargaining. And you don't do that by saying to a group of workers, you take it or leave it.
Patrick Lazars, WAMN News.
South Perth residents are celebrating after the Supreme Court overturned an approval to construct a 44-storey tall building in the area. The court has ruled against the Joint Development Assessment Panel's approval, arguing it should not have been approved on 2 grounds of commercial residential use. Remaining areas of review, including issues of height and plot ratio, were dismissed in the decision. The developer is expected to amend its application after reviewing the decision.
This is the first Supreme Court appeal against a development that has really divided the community, and it could have an impact on what further developments take place in that part of the South Perth Peninsula.
We're not complaining about development per se. What we're saying is that there needs to be reasonable development that the area can cope with.
Perth was finally recognised as Western Australia's capital city this week after the Parliament passed the City of Perth Act. The Act was formed during the council amalgamation bid in 2013, which was later dumped by the Barnett government. Under the Act, landmarks including UWA, the Children's Hospital and Kings Park will be absorbed by the City of Perth along with 3,000 residents. But the City of Subiaco is concerned the move will result in job losses.
The Subiaco residents should not be fearful. We will probably give them cheaper rates and we will give them a better service. As for the Subiaco Council, we have looked at the financials. We do not believe that it is a fatality for them.
23 bodies have been recovered by emergency workers in Western Nepal after a plane crashed into the mountains. Bad weather conditions in the Himalayas have jeopardized recovery efforts because the site can only be reached by helicopter or on foot. An army spokesperson says the bodies will be airlifted from the scene to Pokhara, a town located more than 200 kilometers away from Kathmandu.
Former BBC Top Gear host Jeremy Clarkson has settled a lawsuit with producer Oyson Timon, who he assaulted during the filming of the show in 2015. The BBC reported that Clarkson has agreed to pay Timon damages of more than $100,000. He's issued an apology statement saying the incident was unwarranted and he's sorry that Mr. Timon has to go through that.
And finally tonight, the idea of pedalling from Perth to Melbourne on a bicycle seems far-fetched, but one man's about to take on this huge challenge with the aim of raising funds for suicide prevention. 60-year-old Bruce Bowman aims to raise $20,000 for Beyond Blue by biking across the country over 2 months. He'll be updating the progress of his journey to the public through an online blog.
It's 3,700 kilometres direct, so I'll be doing about 100 kilometres a day, which is about 5 or 6 hours riding. Once I got Beyond Blue involved in it, it's become more of a charity ride than it was for me. So the more people I can get behind it and support Beyond Blue, the better.
A very good cause indeed.
Go Bruce! Those are the top stories for this week. You can catch our latest news on our website or on Facebook.
Time for Western Perspective. For now, from the both of us, good evening.
Good night.
Thanks, Ivan and Danielle. Hello, I'm Nelson Liu and welcome to Western Perspective.